Planning your destination wedding and have guests that want to attend but don't want to stay at your host resort? What's up with that? Let's talk about it. Hey, this is Jack with Vacationese. Do me a favor and subscribe to the videos. Now, I hear this all the time from brides. It's a question brides are embarrassed to ask. I hear it from guests when we have weddings, but here's the scoop. So you're hosting your wedding at a given resort, and it's an amazing resort. You've taken time working with us or a travel planner, and you've picked the perfect resort you think for all your guests. And then here comes a guest that says, well, I don't want to spend the money. I have a timeshare. I want to have a stay at an Airbnb. I live in the area, whatever it may be. And this is true for any all-inclusive resort in Mexico, the Caribbean. We've even seen it at an all-inclusive resort in Greece we were working with. These guests cannot just walk on to the property. For some reason, people have this perception that they just open the door to the Hyatt or the Dreams or the Secrets and go, hey, I'm here for so-and-so's wedding. Doesn't work like that. So they have these things called day passes and event passes. So let's talk about this subject because it happens so far into the process that everybody gets upset. Now, here's the thing. You cannot, as a guest, not that you're the guest, but your guest cannot just show up at the front gate of a hotel and say, hey, I'm here for so-and-so's wedding, because they're not going to let them in. So what happens is the guest will call us and say, hey, I'm not interested in attending. It's a great package. I don't want to spend the money. I don't like that resort. Whatever the reason. I don't really care. We've heard so many different reasons. But they want to attend the wedding. And here's what we tell them. We can't help. Why is that? Because resorts have what are called day passes and event passes. So let me explain to you the differences. A day pass is the guest can buy access to the resort for the full day. In some cases, they can hang out at the pool, they can come to your events, they can eat at the restaurants. Now you have event passes. In event passes, they can come to your given event. The resorts have certain qualifications on that, which is you can only come into the resort an hour or two before the event, and you have to leave X time after the event. Now, what we're seeing is resorts are not selling as many day passes as event passes, which I think is a great idea, because if you start selling day passes to cruise passengers or wedding guests or people that just want to come out, it changes the occupancy of the resort, and it's hard to get chairs and into restaurants. Bottom line is most resorts now are doing event passes. But here's the thing about this. We can't, as your travel professional, get them for your guests. We will have to tell the guests either they have to contact you or the wedding planner you're working with or the resort, because we don't have the access of these passes. Now here's what's a little bit tricky about these, and we try to explain this to people that contact about this. Many of the resorts in their wedding contracts with you, not in the room contract, but in the wedding contract, it'll have specific information about these passes. What I've seen recently is that resorts will only sell passes as a percentage of rooms you've booked at the resort. I saw something the other day that they will only sell a maximum of 10% event passes based upon the number of people. So let's say that you have 50 people that are staying at the resort for your wedding. They'll sell 5 of the event passes. But the fine print on that said, based upon availability and occupancy at the resort, and only available 7 days prior to the event. I've also seen some that say that they're not available until 24 hours prior to, and it gives a phone number or something of who to contact. Now, we explain this to your guests that contact us about this, and I tell them, if you 100% want to attend the wedding, then stay at the resort. Because you could stay at your Airbnb or be there and contact whoever it is, and they say, well, due to high occupancy levels, we are not selling event passes. We had this happen to us several months ago where we got a call from a client, or actually a person who wasn't a client, saying, hey, I'm at the security gate, I'm trying to get in, and they're telling me they won't sell us a day pass or an event pass. And I'm like, well, I don't know, what am I supposed to do? We can't get them. We explained that to you before. So what I would say to you is, you're planning a wedding. If you think you're going to have people that want these day or event passes, it's something you should address with your travel planner. But again, we're only going to tell you what the fine print says. We have attempted in Jamaica with resorts, because people may have family that live there, to negotiate up front a certain number of passes guaranteed, and we've had some success with that. But many resorts just say no, it's the language is in the wedding contract. So I think it's something you have to think about. But here's the bottom line, and I tell this to brides, grooms, families, people contacting us. The fun of the destination wedding is hanging out with your friends and family for 4, 5, 6, 7 days, eating meals, hanging out at the pool, playing volleyball, yes, and going to your wedding and ceremony and events. But if you're trying to do the event or day pass, they're not going to sell you a pass for 3 days in a row. It's just not happening. If you're lucky, they'll get you that event or day pass the day of the event. But then you're not going to accomplish what the fun of the destination wedding is hanging out. So, what's the solution? I don't really have it, because again, we're hearing from resorts that it's based upon availability. I've now seen this in 2 or 3 contracts. So you're not going to know, and it's not going to be you, but what's going to happen is you may get a call from a friend who's saying, hey, I talked to your wedding planner, and they said they can only sell 3 passes. You've already bought 3, or that day the resort's at high occupancy and they can't sell them, and I'm here and I can't come to your wedding. I don't have a solution. My solution is everybody should stay at the host resort. And what I will tell you to make you feel better about this is 99.99% of the time, everybody does stay at that host resort, which is the whole plan, because selfishly for you, you gain benefits at most resorts for guests staying as part of your wedding room block. If people stay outside of the room block, it's going to cost you money. If people buy day passes, oh, by the way, if they buy a day pass, it's going to cost you money because they're not under your room block. So not only are they going to have to pay for the day pass, which could be $100 to $200, $250. I saw one at the Grand at the Moon Palace. But you're going to have to pay for them to stay on your wedding events because they're not under the wedding package that you bought. So anyway, bottom line is, guests, please stay as part of the wedding room block through the travel professional that organizes the wedding, brides and grooms. Talk to your guests that think they may want to stay off site and explain to them these things, so it's not as though they're bothering you a day or 2 before the wedding where you're trying to get married with this problem. So hopefully this answers questions you may have about day passes and event passes, and what to do about people that for some reason are not, don't want to, can't stay at your host resort. And this is Jack with Vacation Ease.